it's clearly not the midfield that's the problem. The defence is the problem.
Yeah, and also there's no DM, Chloe. That's the thing here. Like, this is where I thought McAllister was really good. I thought he had a really good game, but you still need that, you know, Fabinho, Moises Caicedo, whoever it is, and without that, you know, I actually thought for the most part, I thought Van Dijk did quite well. I don't know what your thoughts are. I thought they were all right in defence. You know, a lot of headers, a lot of tackles, but it was too easy for Chelsea to pop the ball into Raheem Sterling. He can then pop it to Reece James, and Reece James was you're right, he had Andy Robertson on toast. Yep. And that's where you do need that, you know, someone who the fire extinguisher, you know what I mean? Like and without it, you are just going to invite teams onto you.
Yeah, it was also a case of the switch of play. I mean, Reece James, I didn't even mention him in these triangles because he was just in loads of space on one side and he literally just hugged the touchline, and there was so many times where I was screaming at Verge because him and Robertson seemed so tight together because they were so worried about Nicholas Jackson running between them or Raheem Sterling, but the problem was out wide, and that is the problem when you've not got a recognised centre-back who's on the left-hand side. You've got a wing-back. I thought with the McAllister situation, I thought he was really good for 30 minutes once again, but I already got worried in those 30 minutes when he was passing along this right-hand side to Salah, or he was passing to Szoboszlai and he was bombing it down the right-hand side of the wing, and I'm like, no, that's not what... I understand that is what you do as an attacking midfielder where you play, but as a DM, you've got to learn to give that and not go. You've got to learn to pull back and be the extra man in midfield. And maybe that is also why, you know, Konate, I thought he was brilliant for first 30, but then once someone got past McAllister or past our midfield, he felt the need to engage every single time, and he just left acres of space in behind him. And Trent obviously being in the inverted role, it means there's even more of a space on that right hand side. So yeah, it was a struggle for Liverpool once, you know, Chelsea got a little bit of confidence and sorted themselves out. Once again, back to this fine-tuning of the system. I thought Robertson was much more disciplined today in terms of not going forward, but that was also because Reece James was literally playing right wing half the time, so he wasn't allowed to go forward. And when Reece James came off and we made some subs, you actually saw him advance up the pitch a bit more. But yeah,
I think so. To cut across you there, Claude, dead quick. I think Reece James going off might be the difference between Liverpool winning, to draw and getting beat. I think if he stays on for 90 minutes, there's a good chance. Could, you know, they bring Gusto on and he didn't do anything down that right hand side. I think
we didn't get after him either. That's another thing. This young lad coming on, Chelsea, and you could tell because Darwin Núñez in the final couple of minutes of the game bullies a ball off him and takes it off him and goes to shoot. And we adjusted this system where we took off both Diaz and Salah, and we'll get to that in a minute. I will not ruin that part because I've already ruined the rest of the show anyway. But no one engaged when he was on the ball. No one decided to go and smash him. For all I care.
It felt like, it did feel like Liverpool run out of legs, which is, we'll talk about the subs, it's definitely a couple of major talking points then before we wrap up. Obviously, don't want this to go too long. We'll have a thorough, in-depth analysis, obviously, on the final word on Monday, Dan. But first of all, penalty and ball. My initial reaction, just like I'll give my thoughts on it. Yeah. I think it's a penalty. I don't think you can say your hand in a natural position when you're holding like what's your hand up here for? Like a T-Rex or something, I don't know, like you're like someone leaning over your neighbour's fence, like Wilson off Home Improvement, just peeking over the fence. Like, for me, I thought it was a penalty. What do you think?
I don't think it's a penalty personally. I can't come away from that game sort of bemoaning the fact that we've been hard done by anything like that. It's too. The problem is with it is he clearly thinks Diaz is going to flick on the header at the near post, and he doesn't. Diaz misses completely. So therefore, the reaction time he's got to do anything is like a millisecond. He's like a yard.
Why is his hand there though?
Because it's not a natural position. It's not outstandingly away from his body. It's quite tight to his body. So for me, it's not a pen.
It's not a natural position. This is
it's not. Of course,
it's surrender. I'm giving up.
How often are defenders or attackers in natural positions when they're moving the body? Hardly ever. Hard for me. I think I'd have took it. Of course, I would. If we need to win the game, if there's a difference between 1 point and 3 points, but I'd bite your hand off. But for me, if that had been the other way around, that had been given against us, I would be livid.
I thought he moved his hand to the ball.
Yep.
Basically.
So we've got 2 yeses and a no, Chloe, others.
I'm stuck in the... At first glance I said no, it's literally... He's got his hands tucked all the way in. And then you look at it again, and the more you look at it, it's just not natural. You go to header your ball, the ball, and you use your hands for leverage to move. You don't put your hands up like that.
He's scared.
He's not trying to head the ball.
It's like he's afraid the ball's going to hit him in the face, so he's like kind of palmed at it. because it was so close to his body, that's why he's got away with it. At the moment, at the time, I thought it would have been harsh, but actually looking at it, who knows where that ball lands after that? We could get on the end of that.
Might go in.
Yeah,
Nearly
it could.
went in,
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's flapped at it, and I don't get how he's allowed to do that. But at the same time, I don't think it was like, it's not like Jota last season against Spurs where it's nailed on for me.